Hey, what is up, everyone? I'm going to tell you guys right now on my thoughts for dual income versus single income families and retirement. So, I wanted to kind of talk about this because it's closer to me. And I grew up with just my dad working, and my mom and my would raise my sisters and myself. And my dad went out every single day into the office and kind of grinded to bring home the bacon. And it was really interesting because that is something in almost a bygone era now. It's really, really rare to see due to the cost of where everything's at. I went to the grocery store the other day, and it was like a quarter pound of bacon. And this was like a healthier bacon, but a quarter pound of this, it was like $9.50. And this is at a budget grocery store, Myers. This is not some Whole Foods or anything. And I was just like, this is insane. I mean, minimum wage, what is it? 8.25, 7.25, whatever. That doesn't even get you a quarter pound of bacon anymore. And I'm not saying we should raise that. I'm saying look at the cost of where everything's at. So the John Wayne days of our society, they're almost closed. They're almost gone. I see a few situations where it's happening now. I have someone I know, what he does, and he makes good and decent money, but he supports a family of like six or something. He is not floating in a lot of money. In fact, he has debt, a lot of debt, and I don't know how well they're gonna do. I think the one strength is they have a good family situation, and that saves them a lot of money. But given where they're at, it's just that's like one situation where I see it. Other than that, I don't see a lot of people floating that high anymore. So my view is like the man, and maybe this is just gender roles, the man should really try and go out and make as much money as possible. And the woman should try to do something part-time remote. Like enough to contribute, let's just say the mortgage is $3,000. Maybe she contributes 1,000, the guy contributes 2,000. And then they both kind of put money towards other tertiary expenses. I think that the days of that entire family riding on that one income, it's so risky now, guys. It's so risky. Because what happens when that person loses their income? Right? I mean, we see it every day. Random layoffs happening, right? How do you prepare for that? And so it's risky, but it's also not financially viable if you really want to grow your wealth and grow your net worth and retire with ease. I don't think how this society is constructed is really great, to be honest. I think we should have the option for one person to work. It's just not tenable right now for a whole host of reasons. Our taxes are too high. Inflation is going up too much. We're bringing in lots of people from other countries that are leeching off the system. I mean, I can go on and on. AI is coming. Wealth is consolidating into a few hands. I mean, we're living through the days of oligarchs all over again. And so I don't like how it's constructed, but given how it is constructed, we need to look at that and say, hey, what are the options here where we can be competitive? And I think having that option for income is key. So the overview of my situation is we're dual income, no kids yet. We want to have kids. My wife makes a little bit less than me, not by much. And, if she loses her income, we will be, at least where we live now, we will be lower middle class, fully transparent, if she lost her income. Right now, we're probably floating between the upper middle class. So think about that. One income loss, we're going to go from upper middle class to lower middle class. And I don't want that to happen, but I also want her to raise the kids. I don't want her to send the kids to private equity, company and pay $2,000 a week. She won't be able to experience the baby's first words. So I think that is key is like, hey, like analyze your situation. What's your net worth? What's your money? What can you work with? And then what can you do to make that money remote? Other family situations I know people that make a lot of money, like 300-400K a year, and they still have dual income. Maybe it's greed at that point. I don't know. I also know other situations where, they're just trying to pay off their mortgage and then maybe the woman will retire. I think all of us should try to do what we can to at least pay off our house and then get 3 million in the bank. Once you get those two things, I think you're in a pretty solid position. But before that, I don't know. I know everyone has a different approach in life, but that's kind of some of my sentiment there. There's a lot of mistakes I've seen as well. So, some of those I've seen from family, some of them I've seen through friends, but like a HELOC. It feels so good in the time. Look, you can tap into your equity here. And I think about this with the Bitcoin-backed lending too. You're paying a very high rate, a variable rate too, to borrow against what you've put into something. I don't think that's right. I mean, I see why people do it. They're tapped out on money. They want access to it. Their money's tied up in their house. They don't have a lot of net worth, and so they take out a HELOC. But what's really happening there is you're borrowing against your future self. You're making the banker richer, and are you going to actually see a return on investment with that money that you're taking out? Or is it just to fund little side projects or a vacation or what have you? I've also seen people refinance and they think it's good, but let's really think about this, guys. What's the ultimate goal when we're 65, 70 years old? Yeah, we want to get a lower rate, right? The lower rate feels really good when it comes to a mortgage, right? Like, I don't want to pay $2,800 a month. I want to pay $2,100 a month. So if I can refinance, that's great. But oftentimes what people do is they'll refinance and then that's when the 30 years will restart. So if you refinance years in, you're literally, what you should be focusing on is just paying the damn thing off. Pay it off. Who cares about what the rate is? That's short-term thinking. I would just say, you get a bonus. Let's just say you get a bonus of 20K. Your wife put that all towards the mortgage. Maybe go out for a nice dinner for a couple $100. Don't refinance. I know people that have refinanced so much several times and they're in their upper 60s and they're still paying off debt. I think it's a horrible idea. I think the ultimate goal is to pay off the house, and I think it's what's the word? It feels good. Just because it feels good doesn't mean it's good for you, right? And refinancing, I think, is one of those sirens, and it looks good, it's good to you, but it actually hurts you because you don't pay it off as fast. The goal is to pay it off. That's the goal. Sorry, I'm kind of harping on this one. I'm seeing things happening in my own life right now, and it kind of bothers me that people take out these HELOCs and refinance when it's like, no, just pay it off. Cash on the barrelhead. The next one is not having multiple income sources. I think multiple income sources is key nowadays. Now, if you want the wife to stay at home with the kids and you go and work, that's great. But what are you going to do to supplement her income? Are you going to do dividends? Are you going to work weekends? Are you going to, take up something else? Or is she going to do something else on the side? What are you going to do to make up for that lost income? The example I gave is we're going to go from upper middle class. There's no in between there. I mean, I'm saying, hey, maybe we go down 50K a year and then we can be middle class instead of lower middle class, right? that's a situation I'm willing to entertain as long as she can be there with the kids, for the first couple of years. So, I mean, that is a thing I think we need to think about. We need to think about multiple income sources at all times. I'm always thinking about it. Maybe I need to act on it more, but I'm always thinking about that multiple income source idea. The next thing is buying useless shit. Like, to be honest with you, I see so many people where they have a new Amazon package arriving every single day. And sometimes it's not every single day. Sometimes it's every week. But it's like, okay, if you buy a book, for example, or you buy a video game, and you haven't finished that book or finished that video game, what are you doing ordering another book or another video game? Finish what you have in front of you, just like when you go to the restaurant. Finish the food you have in front of you before you order more. Finish the content you have bought before you get more. We live in this society where you can just press a button and something will land in your lap. So you get access to infinite amounts of information at all times. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you want the world? You can have the world. Yeah, but are you actually like fully appreciating the books that you're getting, the movies, and there's so much junk, and it's so poor quality, and it's just like, sorry guys, another vent, but it's useless. A lot of it is useless junk. Okay, maybe you need that iPhone cord. Okay, go buy it. Maybe you need this or that. Go buy it. But like, so much stuff we're buying nowadays, we're just buying it to fill a void, and that void is not going to get filled up by buying more stuff. The last two is taking on debt. I think we shouldn't take on debt. I'm sorry to sound like Dave Ramsey. We shouldn't take on debt. We should just pay things for what they are. If you can't afford the vacation to Italy, don't go. If you can't afford that new Toyota Land Cruiser, don't buy it. If you're not going to be tax advantaged when you are, in retirement, look at that again. Try to find ways to put your money in tax advantaged vehicles. We need to be very adaptive nowadays, guys, when we approach our retirement. We need to really think about this stuff, because how we earn and the investments we make shape the future lives we have. If we don't really think about this stuff, if we don't kind of think about it, we're going to be dependent on the system. What if Social Security is not there? What if, what will we be if we don't proactively make investments, if we don't proactively try to put money down in retirement? We're going to be in a situation that hurts us down the road. So I think it's key that we always think about this income side of things. We think about our family situation. How can we best play our hand? Maybe we weren't given an ace in life or an ace king, but maybe if we were given a 7-2 unsuited, we try to play that 2 pair. We try to play that full house. We try to maybe bluff in life, but we cannot just wait for, money to fall in our lap. It's not going to happen, right? So guys, I just wanted to share this, very personal to me, because I'm seeing it around me right now with people I care about, trying to retire, and people I care about. And, sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. But I think these are things that I really think we should all consider. Cash only mindset is the way I'm taking. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But so far it's worked out for me. I'm not worth several million yet. I'm 32, but I'm doing very well, I think, for my age. And it's just because I'm thinking this cash only mindset. Yes, I'm enjoying my money. Trust me, I am enjoying my money. But I also am seeing the bigger picture too, and how I don't want to be in the rat race forever. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Comment, rate, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in a future podcast. Thanks.